Hi, All Agent here, and we are going to play a test build for the new Fast and Formidable update. Now, there's a lot of salt going around in the more competitive community about this update. I think they're having a knee-jerk reaction, and after they really get into it, they might actually like it if you just give it a chance. Now, this build I put together specifically for the update, built from scratch, on some of the same ideas that I used to use before, but couldn't really make work in 1750 CPU because it was just too weak and everybody else was putting out way too much damage. It actually works now, and you're going to see in this video it works really well. So we're going to talk about the build. You'll see me doing the basic tower capturing technique of getting up underneath those crystals and shooting up the connector strips. It's the best way to cap them. I got to cover that in every battle arena video I do. So now that we've covered that, the build itself has a blink module as its core, and then it's only got 4 tier 10 hover blades inside of it, but I am well within the weight limit for those hover blades. Now usually I would put some rudders or some wings on the bottom of it to stabilize it so it doesn't do that bouncy rolly thing it was just doing. Unfortunately, with this update, a lot of drag was added if you don't have enough thrust to overcome it, and I'm sure there's a lot of drag added no matter how many thrusters you put on. But I do see lots of flying winged craft doing quite well, so while there's drag, I think it may be related to the amount of thrust that you have, the overall weight of your craft, and the fact that I've got hover blades on here too. So we're not using those wings, so we don't have a perfectly stable build, but what we do have is a very fast and very powerful build. This thing packs a punch. We're just using plasma ravagers. We've got 5 of them on here. I believe I tried it with 7 and I didn't like the change in CPU with how my energy bar depleted, or there was some change I didn't like about it. So we've got 5 plasma ravagers and the blink module, 4 tier 10 hover blades, and some E plates in the front because it's a strafe hover, and I use camera controls on it to get that extra mobility factor going. And I need to be able to soak up a little bit of damage from the front so that I can dish out my energy bars worth of damage and then get the hell out of there. So, and that's what we're going to do there. We're going to blink out. I've lost 3 of my 5 plasma ravagers, so my fire rate has been dramatically crippled with that. So we're going to get out, we're going to heal up, and we're going to go fight some more. And the key with these builds is to do hit and run attacks. Attack smaller, weaker bots or bots of the same size that you can go toe-to-toe with. You don't necessarily want to charge face first into something that's got 2,000 CPUs worth of armor, weapons, and E-plates on it. Now, luckily, people have caught on, and if you want to dish out a lot of damage, you need to be balanced in terms of strength. You can't be this huge behemoth with like 9 million hit points worth of armor and dish out a buttload of damage to where you can just sit there and kill anything before it has the slightest chance of killing you back. Now, I think this update is a really good thing in terms of balance. As you can see, I've got a very effective build. I have not played plasma in quite a while either, except for air plasma. I have not played hover plasma in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty with the firing arc, but I am still able to hit this guy in the sky a little bit here and there. I would definitely like to be better at it, but I will take what I can get at this point, and I'll probably get better with time as I play this build more. I'm going to play this build a lot more. This is a variant of a 2000 CPU build I did. It's hovering at like 1950 CPU, and it uses plasma bombarders, and it's a lot more tough, but it isn't quite as fast, it's not quite as maneuverable, and it doesn't pack quite as big of a punch. So excuse me. With builds like these, the lower the CPU is, the faster and more agile you're going to have to be, and I'm sure there's a cutoff limit where the speed just doesn't make up for the fact that you can't take any damage. Like you'll see later in this match, there are quite a few small and fast and agile bots, but one salvo of plasma is enough to completely destroy them outright. So they basically get one-shotted. not quite one-shotted because the fire rate and damage of these doesn't really put out like, you can't really call it a one-shot, but it's one energy bar, one clipped, whatever you want to call it. They get destroyed in just one energy bar's worth of damage, which is great for me. I think I've found a good sweet spot with this. It's just over 1,000 CPU at 1,076 CPU. I may stick a radar on it, but I had to control the weight very, very carefully when I built this. You've got to look at your total weight now in the advanced data. There's a hotkey for that. I think I set mine to F3 or slash or something, but you need to figure out your optimal weight and stay below that. For instance, the tier 10 wheels can carry 2,000 kilograms of mass each. So if you have a four-wheeled cruiser, you would want to stay at or below 8,000 kilograms to get optimal performance out of them. Now, they will still work if you go over, but they're going to be slower and slower and slower the more weight you add to them. So you want to watch it. Now, with builds intended to be like mine, fast, agile, and pack a punch, definitely want to stay under that optimal weight. And I did have to make some cuts to this. That's why the back has so many prisms on it. I've got some arrow rods and stuff. I definitely had to make a lot of cuts that I didn't really want to make to get the kind of performance that I wanted ultimately out of this build. So I think that's really good for balance of this game. Your min-max builds are actually going to be min-max builds. There will be clear trade-offs. I don't think this system is perfect by any means, but I think it really, really works, and there are a lot of dynamic, fun, and fast-paced play styles to still be had out there. Let me take a drink of coffee. I got a fresh cup here. So I've been having a lot of fun with this update, and build-wise, I like to build fair, and I like to build fun, and I like to build art bots too. Usually I keep those as rail cruisers, or most of what my art bots are. But I do like to build some sci-fi, science fiction styled hovers and helicopters too. But most of my builds are just as, if not more effective than they were prior to this update, with no changes. I've made some changes on some to get the amount of shots, say, that I want out of the rail erasers. I want at least 5 shots. I want every gun to fire once per power bar. So I had to cut down a 1750 CPU ArtBot cruiser. I had to cut it down to 1627 CPU, which didn't really hurt it at all. I had to remove some of the e-warfare, electronic warfare items I had on it. I had to remove some armoring that I had on it that was mostly cosmetic, but it obviously is armor. It served as armor. And I had to remove a handful of unnecessary cubes from it. And I got myself down to 1627, and I got my 5 shots per energy bar, and I've also got a power module on it, or an energy booster now, so I can get 10 shots if I really need them. And those, in this new meta, those 10 shots are extremely potent, because you have a lot of builds like mine that can only take 1 or 2 before they're crippled and unable to do anything. So a good railer with a good build is definitely going to be able to contend in his element with these fast and agile bots. I don't think the balance is absolutely perfect by any means. I think we need to address energy usage and damage output of everything across the board, some more than others, but generally speaking, this update was a huge step in the right direction of balance and balancing this game and making it fun to play and not pigeonholing everyone into playing 1 of 4 or 5 different builds to be competitive. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.